Hello readers, so just like yesterday, we are going to use our slideshows. I'm going to read off a couple of things that we're going to be talking about, read some stories, and then you can complete your assignment. So learning targets, we will learn to understand first person point of view by reading and analyzing a text and explaining the narrator's thoughts and feelings. Performance of understanding, we will use a traditional literature story to find the first person point of view. Success criteria, we can analyze the story and look for keywords that tell us if it is first person point of view. So today we're going to continue our study of traditional literature by analyzing specific types of stories that fall into this genre. This is what makes traditional literature such a fun genre to study. The fact that there are so many different types that fall into this category make it enjoyable to read. So let's look back to the anchor chart that we created yesterday. If you did not get a chance to write this down, now is a good time for you to pause. So traditional literature includes fairy tales, folk tales, myths, fables, and legends. It's often based on oral tradition with no known author. It's a good versus evil or right versus wrong. It contains magic or fantasy. Any time, any place long ago in a land far, far away. So this means that there is no time period setting. There's no place of a setting. It could be anywhere. It usually has a theme or a lesson learned, so like the golden rule or just being kind to others. There's a simple plot and a happily ever after. Pause the video if you haven't written this down already. So instead of turning and talking, I'm going to allow you all to comment in the video. So this week there's going to be a common theme of commenting on the video or the assignment. And I want you all to talk about the types of stories you remember learning about. So what are the two stories that we read yesterday? What is one thing that you learned from it? So each day we're going to add a different type of traditional literature to a book. We're not creating a book. You're just going to jot down notes. Make sure you leave leave space open to continue adding to your column. Remember that the difference between each type of story. We're going to start with stories that we have already read or are familiar with. So traditional literature, you are going to write this top statement where it says folk tales, oral stories. It's usually anonymous, found in all cultures, timeless and placeless stories. So there's no time period and there are no place restrictions. We're going to begin with fairy tales and we will add throughout the rest of the week. So fairy tales begin with once upon a time. There's usually royalty involved, like a king, a queen, or a prince. Animals. The settings are usually like castles or forests. There's always a good versus evil part. And there's magic. There is also repetition of 3 and 7. And they usually end in happily ever after. So in our traditional literature booklets, we're going to add this information. These are the main points if you would like to pause the video here. And then there are some examples listed. So fairy tales are a type of folk tale about magic and imagery, or imaginary beings, sorry. They feature common storylines with good versus evil. Settings with castles and royalty are common. If you would prefer to use this column instead and write it that way, you can. Some examples are Princess and the Pea, Little Red Riding Hood, and Three Little Pigs. So remember that today and always, as you read traditional literature, keep in mind what kind of stories you're reading. What characteristics distinguish this story from other types of traditional literature. Your assignment, you need to log into Epic and read the story, The Three Billy Goats Gruff. You're going to read the story and complete a quiz at the end. Good luck.